Coming soon to own on
YouTube and
DVD.
Twitch. The monsters we idolize. Now, in this video, from the thumbnail, you're probably not gonna see it until you click on the video. But I think we're talking about Joe Goldberg from You, Dexter from Dexter, and Barry from Barry. I watched You the first 3 seasons. I haven't watched the last ones. I need to catch up to it. And I watched Dexter, not the new Dexter, the old one. But I haven't watched Barry. But I seen clips of it though. So let's get straight into it.
Joe Goldberg from Netflix's You, Dexter Morgan from Showtime's Dexter, and Barry Berkman from HBO's Barry. What do
Yep.
these three individuals have in common? Joe wants to be the white knight that constantly saves his damsel in distress. Dexter wants to live the life of an upstanding citizen with a family and a white picket fence. And Barry wants to be an actor. Okay,
Wait,
that's all
he's
well
a
and good,
murdering
but where's the
actor?
common denominator? They all want to be something they are not. They all want to be the hero of their story, when in reality they are the villain. They are the monsters. All three.
I feel like Dexter's reason why is different on why he kills. Because Dexter kills, people that are like predators, evil people people he views as evil to the society standards, which is like it's evil on Dexter's part to consider killing, but his reasons behind the killings is pure intent, you know? Versus Joe is killing to protect the things he loves. And I don't know nothing about Barry, but I assume Barry kills to protect his image as actor.
These characters are literal wolves in sheep's clothing, as they spend their days masquerading as wonderful members of society, then proceed to moonlight as literal serial killers. Each one of them sporting their own rituals, codes, and warped sense of morality. Despite this, they are still the protagonists of three insanely popular shows. You being a Netflix darling that just aired its 5th and final season, Barry which had huge critical acclaim and won like 4 Emmys, and Dexter that got not
Mm,
1, but 2 ongoing spin-offs after an 8-season run. So clearly they're doing something right. But what?
very
What is
right.
so appealing about this particular archetype of character that seems to attach itself to such a large audience? Well, in order to find this out, we're going to have to dig a little deeper, starting with what is most fresh in my mind, you. You follows Joe Goldberg as our protagonist. He's presented to us as this well-read, highly analytical romantic.
Boy, this when I first seen this shit, I was like, what type of cuck simulation shit is this? If you don't know, he's probably not gonna explain it. If you don't know, he's standing outside a random girl his house or apartment that the girl came to his bookshop where he works at one time. He followed her home, and now he's watching that exact same girl get crushed by her boyfriend at the time, and he's just watching lovingly, waiting for his turn. I was like, what the fuck? What type of cuck simulator is this?
Your typical handsome librarian trope. He's had a troubled childhood, sure, but I mean, who hasn't? Although he does have a bit of a bad habit.
Can you be quiet? Whoa.
Once Joe falls in love with a girl, he has this need to protect them. You see, Joe
Yeah.
has an MO. His version of protecting implies he's going to kill everyone, preventing him from having this magical fantasy he's envisioned with whoever he set his eyes on. Okay, so really quick break. I just wanted to include this because I thought it was funny. So mind you, it's 2 a.m. when I was recording this, and I kept messing up, so I was kind of getting mad at myself, but it's fine.
You like that,
The
man?
recording stayed on. Now, when that happened, everything was really, really loud because I still had my headphones on. So to the left of me, a piece of styrofoam fell out of the trash, and it sounded like someone was creeping up on me. So here's the audio of that happening. But that's... Oh! I hope you got a kick out of that, because I really did. Anyway, back
Holy
to the video.
shit.
He kills lovers, family members, exes, and friends, all in an attempt to prove that this girl is the one. But that's not even the worst part. It turns out the damsel in distress analogy is very fitting for Joe. But while he might deeply desire to be the knight in shining armor, in actuality, Joe is the dragon. And once the damsel sees Joe for the
I'm not gonna lie. this girl,
Joe is the dragon.
Gwen,
And
not Gwen, but her, Guinevere Beck, I think that's her name, if I remember right. She actually did have some bad friends around her. Not like kill worthy, but she had a lot of like bad people in her corner. I think her college professor was forcefully forcing her way onto her. I didn't not trying to get bad, was forcing her way onto her. She was banging her therapist. Her friend, her own girlfriend was possessive and obsessive and would blackmail her so she couldn't leave. She tried to leave. She tried to kill herself. And then her friend laced her and had a three-way with her against her will. And then her boyfriend was like a millennial jackass who really didn't give a damn about her. So in this case, she really did have a lot of bad people in her corner. I'm not gonna lie.
once the damsel sees Joe for the monster that he is, it's too late. She's already been burnt to a crisp. Well,
Yeah.
not literally. His preferred method is strangulation, but both of his wives were in a fire, so I think the point still stands. I haven't even mentioned his literal dungeon in the bookstore basement, nor how often he drugs the girls he falls for and a whole host of other forms of mental and physical abuse. But even after all of that is out in the open for the audience to view, in a way, we still root for him. We can't wait to see what he does next. Now, Dexter's a bit of a special case in comparison to the other two. Don't get it twisted.
Yeah.
Dexter's still a despicable person, but it's significantly harder not to root for him. I mean,
Very much
the
so.
Dokes means alone are enough to make up for his wrongdoings.
Man, Dokes died too early.
But beyond that, Dexter has a
Oh.
code that
My fault. Fuck. That's not true. If you haven't watched the show, that doesn't happen. That's not a spoiler.
his father taught him. You see, Dexter has a troubled past as well. He witnessed his mom get brutally murdered right in front of him as a child. So his adopted father, the very same detective that saved him, knew that seeing all of that would, well, fuck him up. So once he noticed Dexter having violent tendencies, he decided to teach him a code, not only to get away with murder, but also
So,
to
like-
only kill the people that deserved it.
Yep.
Dexter is a serial killer who only kills other serial killers. That's what makes him so
And child
likable.
touchers.
Well, that and the fact that he's highly intelligent and is trained in advanced jiu-jitsu and kung fu. In other words, he has an origin story, a dead father, and a strong sense of morality, despite it being warped depending on who you ask. This nigga is literally a superhero.
I'm not gonna. He basically like, I wouldn't say Daredevil, but he like a Batman. I wouldn't say Batman. He Punisher. He like the Punisher. It's just very slightly different.
Don't get it twisted. Dexter doesn't do this because he wants to make the world a better place. Dexter kills because he enjoys it. The fact that he's cleaning up the streets to do it is just a bonus. It wouldn't be far-fetched to say that Dexter holds himself to a higher standard than other serial killers. He despises that others hurt people with reckless abandon. He would never. He's different. He is better. Finally, we have...
All right, let me tap in. What's
Now,
Barry
Barry's a
all
little
about?
different. For one, the show is straight up a comedy. Along with that, Barry is the only one of the three that isn't based off a novel, which is also why Barry doesn't have extensive inner monologue scenes.
Where are we going?
Again, we follow a character capable of immense evil, but where Barry stands out is that he doesn't really like to kill people despite how good at it he is. Barry is an expert marksman who has transitioned from being a sniper in the military to a full-time hitman, doing jobs for anyone from the cartel to the Czech mob. But now that he's gotten sick of his occupation, he decides to pursue a new life, as an actor.
What's in that envelope is for my peace of mind. My peace of mind is worth that much, not one penny more, not one penny more.
Oh,
Yikes.
brother, this guy stinks!
That shit was
With
just
every
rough and
step Barry
flat.
takes towards his dream of being an actor, his dark past pulls him 2 steps back. The evilness in the character of Barry lies in his conviction to live the life he believes he deserves, to have some semblance of happiness, and Barry will kill everyone that gets in his way. Simultaneously, he'll do everything in his power to prevent himself from being involved in the world of a hitman. But if he feels threatened or in jeopardy, he will kill and apologize while doing so, all of which is crescendoed by the show's comedic tone, which leads to an addictive loop of whiplash when the show gets dark. And I mean, man, does the show get dark. Okay, so Joe's a walking telenovela, Dexter's a proxy superhero, and Barry's a wannabe hipster. That doesn't sound that alluring. So what is it about these characters that has such a hold on us and keeps us coming back? Beyond Joe's charm, beyond Dexter's code, beyond Barry's humor. What makes us want to return to see what happens next is their humanity, their relatability. Joe, in my opinion, is the most
Like with Joe, he's like a side everybody has when it comes to relationships. Like that's pushed to a max. You know, it's like you're so obsessed and so you're so caring. You want to protect the thing you love most, but you know you can't be the one and only protector of the thing you love most. So it forces you to do insane and crazy things.
evil of the bunch. He has no redeeming qualities, morally speaking, and he kills with reckless abandon, justifying his means through personal benefit. But
Yep.
his main goal is searching for love. He's in search of this because he has a deep-rooted loneliness. These are two very relatable emotions that drive the plot. Although I really do hope that's where your relatability to Joe stops. Also,
Yeah.
if you notice, you spoon feeds the audience the amount of evil Joe is capable of. In the beginning, Joe kills in the name of love, not necessarily justifiable, but understandable in the realm of disbelief the show asks you to abide by. This works so well that when our main character is literally stalking his love interest and begins to beat off outside of her window, we just
Forgot about this scene too. Oh my god. This shit was a cuck simulator. This nigga was beating. She's on the first story, by the way. He's outdoors beating his shit. And across the street.
shrug and say, that's just Joe being Joe. You might even laugh. So by the time Joe finally kills his first love interest, you aren't disgusted, you don't hate Joe as you would any other villain. Instead you think, wow, he actually did it. I wonder what he'll do next. I wonder how far he will go. Then we just fall deeper and deeper down that rabbit hole until we end up finding ourselves hating him and rooting for him at the same time. Because there
Another spoiler alert. Another spoiler alert.
him and
But once he finds out she was fucking the therapist, he frames the murder on the therapist and then he moves away to California.
rooting for him at the same time. Dexter's a little different because there is no spoon feeding. In fact, quite the opposite. When Dexter is introduced to us, he's quite literally on the hunt for his next victim. And one of the first scenes we see Dexter in, he's literally chopping up a body. But then we learn why he's doing it and who he's doing it to. All of Dexter's victims are also killers, or guilty of some equally heinous crime. But Dexter isn't all that good either. Even if he doesn't kill innocent people directly, he definitely does indirectly. His father basically killed himself when he first saw what Dexter was capable of. I mean, shit, half of Miami Metro was indirectly killed by Dexter. But Dexter wants to fit in.
Yeah.
He wants to belong. At first it was just a cover, but he genuinely loves his family and friends and went to great lengths to protect them and other innocent people in general. But that doesn't change the fact that his urges got his wife killed and turned his only son into someone capable of immense violence. And instead of Dexter being sad that his son turned out to have similar proclivities as his father, instead of being disappointed, he was ecstatic, proud even. So when Dexter kills,
Can't
we
blame
know
him
it's
for being
wrong,
proud.
we know it's evil, but it's hard to escape the undertone that even if Dexter is causing this much damage to all of the lives of those in his personal life, it's all for the greater good. Ideally.
But yo, ideally though,
Very much ideally.
ideal situation.
Yes, Dexter may have taken actions that led to the death of a handful of people, but Dexter mostly killed serial killers. So who's to
And
say
child
he
touchers.
hasn't saved hundreds, if not thousands of possible victims? Then there is Barry.
Yes.
Literally 10 seconds into the first scene of the show, we bear witness to the aftermath of one of Barry's jobs. See, Barry is very good at killing. In fact, he has an innate talent for it, but he doesn't enjoy it. In fact, He doesn't even consider himself to be a violent person. The show Barry uses its much lighter and jovial outer shell as a Trojan horse to deliver its incredibly dark subject matter. As an audience, we are also immediately shown Barry's apathy towards what he does. In fact, he's looking for any excuse to do anything but be a hitman. So when his first mark turns out to be in an acting class and he sees how passionate the people in that class are about acting, he decides to leave his entire life behind and chase his newfound dream as an inspiring actor. Barry is horribly lonely and he's in search of purpose, but beyond that, he despises who he is and desperately desires to be something he is not and to live the life he thinks he deserves. Which is probably why he wants to be an actor in the first place, because they're one of the few professions where they can truly be anything you want to be and get paid to do it. So we talked about what keeps us so hooked, but what makes it so effective? What about this niche genre makes it so popular? Why do we idolize the people that hurt the most? In order to explain this, we really have to enter spoiler territory. So this is your one in.
Right. Hey, y'all heard him. Y'all heard him. Well, we in spoiler territory. Y'all plan on watching? Y'all currently watching? Hey, go ahead. No, log out, big dog. We in spoiler territory.
Final warning. I mean it. Each character has done some truly heinous things, but I think it would give us some insight into what it's like to be a viewer of these characters' actions if we discuss what I describe as their most heinous actions, starting with Barry. I would say the moment that really forces the viewer to reconcile with the fact that Barry is truly unredeemable is when he kills Detective Janice. He kills Janice not because she's evil or by accident, but merely for his only survival. He tries to plead with her, he tries to beg her to spare him from finally facing the music for all of those that he has killed, all the nuts he has stabbed.
I could stab him in the
Wow.
nut. That's something I did once.
But Barry
nut.
doesn't want that.
But not
Even
no
while
plural?
knowing what he has done is wrong, he still wants a better life for himself. He still believes his life is worth living. So his chase to get that better life, the life that he dreams about, is worth achieving by any means necessary. If you have seen this show, you're probably wondering why I didn't mention when he killed his one and only friend. And that's because Barry told him not to get in the car, which led to him being a witness of Barry's criminal activities, which led to his eventual death. But also because
Wow.
when Barry killed him, he was very remorseful about it. It kind of fucked him up in a major way. After he killed Janice, if anything, he thought life would be easier now, and he became hopeful for the future. Joe is a little easier considering that you can pretty much take your pick with one of his many murders and acts of abuse. But if you were to ask me personally, I would say that his craziest moment is in season 4 when he becomes a teacher in London. This is the season that Joe fully embraces
See, I ain't watched season 4. He become an English. He went to London, dated a black girl, and became an English teacher. The fuck?
what he is.
Actually, that's not the first time he dated a black girl in the show, though.
When it is revealed that the antagonist he was hunting for the majority of the season is himself, the two versions of himself merge in order to create what I call Perk 30 Joe. I call him
Wow.
this because after this point, this nigga is geeking. Which brings us to what I believe to be the worst thing Joe has ever done. One of Joe's students, damn near his protege, puts together that Joe has something to do with all the murders that have been happening recently. And right when she manages to get damning evidence of it, Joe appears right next to her just to let her know that not only did he figure out that she was on his ass and stopped her before she can do any real damage, but he also just slimed out her man that was here to help. And on top of that, he's pinning all of the murders on her and there's literally nothing she can do to stop it. Like, bro, I get it. You're on your 5 Kage summit shit, but what on the earth did she do to deserve this treatment? You're just doing it for the love of the game, which turns out that's the only reason why he does most of his shit.
I'm not gonna lie. I might have to watch season 4. That sounds interesting as hell. I'm mad as hell I'm not caught up. Because I'm holy shit. I mean, wow. That sounds good as hell.
Anyway,
I'm
back
out
to
of
a more
catch up.
sane person. Now for Dexter, he has a few to choose from. One may say the death of Detective Dokes or the death of his sister Deborah, but both of those at the end of the day were out of his control. What was in his control, however, was the Trinity Killer. Dexter was intrigued by how a prolific serial killer could have a family while also being a pillar of the community. Trinity seemed to fit into society incredibly well, and Dexter wanted that. So instead of killing Trinity when he had multiple chances to do so, he decided to study Trinity to see.
This is a crazy thought, like side tangent, but like a lot of these older, like really old people It's crazy to think like one or two of them were like serial killers or child like just massive serial killers that never got caught, and they're just living their days out normal.
If he himself could do something similar. So by the time Dexter realized that Trinity in fact did not have it all together,
I am so thankful for you, Arthur.
Shut up, cunt.
it was too late.
Ooh.
Yes, Dexter managed to kill him, but not before Trinity could study Dexter for himself, learn his identity, and kill his wife, Siri Staple, Rita. This left Rita's kids orphaned and Dexter's son Harrison down the same dark path as his father. Dexter loses a lot of people close to him, but this was the first one where the audience is told that if Dexter slips up, the people closest to him are the ones that suffer. There's way more I can get into for each of these shows, like how Fugues in NoHo Hank and Barry are foils of him and crucial to his character development, or go deeper into how Joe's savior complex is an allegory for toxic masculinity, or even how
Like he's been on those
Dexter's
first two.
villains challenge his morals in different ways every time he encounters a new one. But
True. He's spitting though. He is
for
spitting.
those who haven't seen these shows, so far you have some hope of still watching them. Not anymore. Because now here comes
Holy
the real
shit.
spoilers. If we spend all this time building up these kinds of heinous actions, then how does it end? How does it look when it all comes crashing down?
Now, since I'm going to be, since I now discovered I want to watch the end of You, I'm not listening to that part, but I'm not gonna skip it. I'm gonna just mute it. I'm gonna mute it. I'm gonna take my headphones off and let y'all
How
listen
should
to
we
it.
cast our judgment on the monsters that we created? Luckily for us, each show has a different take on how we should tackle this problem, and we're going to look at every option and see which is a suitable response to the crimes they are guilty of. Starting with Dexter, mostly because his ending is kinda up in the air. Well, not if you include the two spin-offs, but for now, let's focus on the first show's ending. So after Dexter's actions lead to the death of his sister, long story, he realizes he himself is the problem and decides the only way for the storm of death to end is for him to drive himself into a literal cyclone, sacrificing himself and ending his story. At least that's what he wants you to think. Turns out Dexter actually survives the crash and moves to some random flyover state to trade the hot and fast-paced life of Miami to become a lumberjack.
I traveled 500 miles to give you my seed.
Lumberjack?
There's two ways we can look at this ending if you ask me. Morally speaking, killing equals bad. But if you kill someone because they killed
I'm not gonna lie. If that was the true ending of Dexter, I would be pissed. I would be pissed. Fuck you mean, nigga drove into a weak ass CGI cyclone, and that's it. I would have been pissed.
others, then it becomes a moral gray area. So, what should be the fate of someone who is undoubtedly a monster that uses their monstrous traits for good? Well, nothing. Their fate is equally as gray as the actions that precede it. Dexter is forced to live out his life alone, forced to contend with the consequences of his actions in the deafening chills of solitude. Oh, and the other way to look at it? Well, it's to leave room for spin-offs, which they definitely took advantage of.
Yep.
Next up, we have Barry. At this point, Barry has been on the run since his escape from jail in season 3 for a full 8 years. He even has a kid now with his longtime love interest, and he's kind of living the life he's always wished for himself, albeit at the expense of his family. His wife Sally is depressed and lonely, not to even mention the fact that she has completely given up on her aspiration of being an actress. And his son doesn't understand why they're hiding from the outside world, why his family has such strict rules, and why they are so clearly hiding something from him. To be honest, Barry's series finale has the most moving parts and it would take way too long to explain it. So this is the gist of it. Remember the detective Janice? Yeah, well her boyfriend Gene Cousineau was Barry's acting teacher. The whole reason why he wanted to become an actor to begin with was thanks to his class. Barry essentially ruined Gene's life and sent him on a crusade of revenge. Long story short, right when Barry decides it might be time for him to face the music, Gene walks right into his house and shoots him point blank in the noggin.
Oh, wow.
Leaving Sally behind to raise their child.
Wow.
Now they are free to do whatever they want. Barry was always the reason why most characters in the show's lives went to shit. This merely confirms it. Don't forget, Barry has already been sent to prison and he escaped. So there's only one ending fitting for someone that made so many others meet theirs. And that's exactly what he got. Personally, I think Joe's ending is the best. This season, Joe is more powerful than
Oh shit. Oh, I almost got spoiled. I'm gonna let y'all listen to it, but I don't want to get spoiled because I plan on watching this now. I watched the end of Dexter, the first Dexter, so I already knew that was gonna happen. I'm not gonna lie, I didn't plan on watching Barry, but I plan on watching this. I'm gonna just let y'all listen to it.
Ever before, because his love interest is the daughter of an infamous businessman with loads of money
I can't
and
even look, bro.
connections. After her father dies, she now has control over all that
Yeah, I
money.
can't even
She
look.
even gets Joe's kid back. So now that Joe has everything he has ever wanted, he decides to fall in love with a
I can't
girl
look.
he found trying to break into his bookshop.
Is it over?
This is another ending with
No,
a
no,
lot
no,
of
no, no,
detail,
no,
but
no,
there's two major plot points that I think are
no.
worth explaining. Firstly, women from Joe's past, including the student that he sent to prison, come to destroy Joe. And secondly, the main girl of this season, Bronte, initially only got close to Joe to prove he was a heinous killer. And she did, right before promptly
It's still
falling in
going.
love with him. In the final episode, we pick up with Joe on the run with Bronte. You see, the woman from Joe's past failed to kill him, but they did manage to get a confession of sorts out of it.
It's still
So now
going.
he's a wanted man. Bronte is aware of this, but Joe is so swept up in the fantasy that he doesn't realize until it's too late. They get into a fight, but right before he can kill her, the cops are called and he's forced to run into the woods. Side note, petition to have Penn Badgley play Wolverine because this nigga was looking feral. I mean, look at him, he's going crazy.
No.
When he is finally caught, he pleads with the police to kill him, so he charges at them. And they shoot, but instead of shooting him fatally, they opt to... Wait, that can't be right. Let me check my notes, hold on. Oh, yep, yeah, it says it right here. They shoot his dick off! Like, literally, they even make a dick joke
You hear
about
it.
it. I think it's pretty obvious what the writers want us to feel about Joe and his actions. And considering how Joe was out here moving...
You want to know how I killed Beck?
I can hear the audio from my headphones.
I think the greatest form of emasculation is well deserved. In the end, Dexter was left in complete isolation. Let's pretend the spin-offs don't exist.
All right, the spoilers are over. We made it through. The spoilers are over. Holy shit.
Barry was killed by the man he respected the most, and Joe was sent to prison with an entirely new take on if size matters. Are these endings equal to the harm that was dealt to these characters' victims? Well, that's up to you, I'm afraid. Personally, based on the level of evil each character committed, I would say so. As for why we find these types of stories entertaining, well, I think there's a multitude of reasons. Like, maybe we want to ask ourselves, what would we do if we were one of the victims? What would you do
We'll be dead. That's what we will do.
if you're on Dexter's table?
You will be dead. You'll be screaming in agonizing pain as he slowly and brutally murders you.
What would you do if Barry had a hit on you?
You'll get shot and gunned down in the back of your head or the side of your forehead.
What would you do if Joe was in love with you?
Me? You talking to me? I'm a grown-ass man.
Or maybe we just want insight on the harsh realities of life without it actually happening to us. Or maybe it's something else entirely. It's funny, Joe actually has the answer to this very same question.
Maybe the problem isn't me. Maybe. It's you.
Anyway,
Oh
I'm
shit.
Jamillion, and you're one in a million.
Oh shit. That was a W video. That was the monsters we idolize. And I'm not gonna lie. Barry, I don't know how y'all feel about Barry. From the sounds of it, it just sounds like an unserious version of Dexter. That's just, I mean, I'm pretty sure it's funny. I'm pretty sure it's a good show. I'm not gonna just say it's not a good show. I haven't watched it. But yeah. Yeah, thank God I didn't get hit with that spoil. Yeah, this video just made me want to finish watching you. With that being said, let me know how y'all feel about that down below. See y'all boys later though. Get us a like. I think I already subscribed.
You don't own my soul. Get your hands off of me. Wanna rest my bones when I am free. Yeah. rest my bones when I am free. You can't control my heart. Bones when I am free. You don't hold my soul. Get your hands off of me. Wanna rest my